Hello. So, this on? Alright. I got a message a couple days ago. A friend asked me, hey, could you do some videos on scales? I said, alright, I can say no. So, I start thinking, Jesus, I wish I had a nickel for every video there is on scales. If you want to know patterns and shit like that, there's lots of those, and those guys are good. Let me tell you something, you should be practicing your scales, even when you don't know why. You should still be doing it. Just like when you were sitting in 7th grade in math, when am I ever going to use algebra? Well, you use it every day. Hopefully you know that. If you don't know that, you use it every day. And music theory is the thing you use every day too, whether you know it or not. When you make it music, you're using it. I mean, there are great players that don't know music theory. There's people who know music theory that can't play so good. Music theory won't make you a better player. It won't take the place of muscle memory. It won't take the place of practice, but it will make your life easier. It won't stifle your creativity. Won't turn you into a robot. You know who says that shit? People who don't know music theory. They say that stuff. But you know what nobody's ever said? No one's ever said, man, I wish I didn't know music theory. So what I thought I'd do of these scales, and we are going to work on scales, the major scale today, and we're not going to do anything, complicated or anything, but I want to show you scales and how the scales are made. And if you stick with me when you get done, I hope you'll know that in the notes of your fretboard, I hope you will know how to make a scale, and hope you will know how to make chords from the scales. If you just learn any one of those things, you'll be better off. So here we go. Let me show you what I've come up with. I drew pictures. I got a chart here. You have to work with me on the artwork. And this is the first thing you got to know, and because this is what makes everything else work. This is the notes, and the notes are spaced in intervals. Intervals is the distance between notes. And what that means, I don't think anybody does. We just keep on repeating it to the next bunch. So when you teach somebody that, you'll teach about the space between the notes. It's called intervals. Whole and half steps. Between A and B is a whole step. And see how I've got it drawn? B to C is a half step, or a semitone. Tones, they're sometimes called, or probably should be called. To C to D is a whole tone. D to E, whole tone. E to F's a half tone. F to G, whole tone. G to A, whole tone. And that never changes. And then this is what everything else works. This is what makes it work. When you let's look at it on the keyboard. Can we see it? Need to get in the light. Alright. See there? You've seen the keyboard. You got the white keys and the black keys. Then they're separated like this. See C? And then it's got a black key. And D, and then there's a black key. E, no black key. F, no black key. Black key. G, black key. So that's this. This is C to D, and there's a whole space there. And you know what goes in there is C sharp and D flat. And then there's a whole space between D and E. And it has a black key. And that black key is D sharp and E flat. Then there's no sharp or flat between E and F. And then, just like we said, and then it just keeps on going like that. So that's your major scale, and sometimes seeing it on the keyboard makes it easier to understand. Alright, so a major scale has a formula. So if you know this formula, you can make any major scale. any key major scale, you follow the formula. You know the intervals. Now when you know the formula, you should write this stuff down. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. So you take your notes and the intervals and you go whole step. Let's do it from C. Whole step from C to D is E. Whole step from D to E. Now you want to go a half step. E to F is a half step. F to G is a whole step. G to A is a whole step. A to B is a whole step. Half step back to C, and that's your what's it called, you know? Damn it. Octave. So that's one octave. That's one octave scale from C to C, and there's no sharps and flats in the C major scale. That's why we used it. But now, see, if it was you were going to use another one, if you wanted to make, say, a D major scale, you'd have to go a whole step, D to E, and a whole step. That would take you to F sharp. So you have a sharp. And that will take you into the circle of fifths and everything. We're not going there. We're not going anywhere complicated. We're just going to learn some rudimentary stuff, so you know you can. You would never need a chord book or a chord chart again. People carry around these big chord books, and they're just shapes that they don't understand. I mean, what are you going to be looking up a diminished chord or something for? You don't even know what it is or how it works. When you know this stuff, you can make the scale any key you want. You know the chords that go to it, and you can make them all over the guitar neck. And we're going to get to that part next. So we got it. We got the intervals. Whole step to B, half step to C, whole step to D, whole step to E.